Good morning, student. As you know that today is your presentation to our students, and you are going to learn new things about the money and credit. So stay with us and enjoy.
Everyone, today our group, Lingraj, Fazan, Ans and me, will explain the main pillars of the Indian government. So, legislature, executive, judiciary. These are the five foundation of the Indian government. So, Lingraj is going to explain this topic.
Good morning to all. My name is Lingraj Sao and I am here to explain legislature. Legislature, also known as the lawmaking body and the parliament. The legislature contains the Lok Sabha, also known as the lower house, and the Rajya Sabha, also known as the upper house. Now let's talk about the functions of the legislature. The legislature makes the new laws and also has the power to change and replace the new old laws. And also they have the power to control the finance of the country. Now, here the question arises, why is legislature so much powerful? Because without no law can be passed without the approval of legislature. They also decide how money will be spent and see the finances of the country. Now, in short, we can say that if India is a machine, then the legislature makes the machine parts, and with some things calmly, sometimes with debates that are more exciting than the reality shows. Executive. The executive includes the President of India, the Prime Minister, the Vice President, and the Council of Ministers and civil servants. Now let's talk about the functions of executive. They execute all the laws made by the legislature. They also are responsible for the welfare of the society and they launch new schemes for the society welfare. Now let's talk about the power of President. The President is the supreme commander of the armed forces and he also appoints the Prime Minister, CGI and the ministers and judges. Now let's talk about the powers of Prime Minister. The Prime Minister represents the nation internationally and sees the day-to-day administration of the nation. Basically, we can say that the legislature makes the laws and the executive makes the rules work. Basically, we can say that the legislature says do this, then the executive says done. Thank you.
Okay. Now let's talk about the Lok Sabha, the lower house of the parliament. So let's discuss some facts about the Lok Sabha. First, the Lok Sabha also called the House of the People. Second, the Lok elected by citizens. Third, the Lok Sabha has the maximum seats of 550 people, 530 from states and 20 from union territories. And the Lok Sabha, also known maximum strength, is 550 people, 530 from states and 20 from union territories. Now, let's talk about some powers of the Lok Sabha. The Lok Sabha introduces and passes bills. Second, the Lok Sabha represents. Now, let's talk about the powers of the Lok Sabha. First, the Lok Sabha introduces and passes bills. Second, the Lok Sabha controls the government. If the Lok Sabha pass a non-confidence motion, the government must resign. And that's all. And that's all today for Lok Sabha. Thank you.
Good morning to all. My name is Fazan and I'm gonna explain you about judiciary. So judiciary includes Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the country, and the second is High Court, and third is district and lower courts. And the functions of judiciary are it controls and protects the constitution, and it interprets the laws, it ensures justice is delivered to everyone, it protects fundamental rights and settle disputes between the central and state governments and the governments and citizens. And the structure of judiciary is like that. In Supreme Court, there is a Chief Justice of India, CGI, and 33 other judges. High courts are headed by the Chief Justices, and the lower courts and the district courts solve or deal with the criminal cases or civil cases. And so there a question arises that why is judiciary important? So its answer is also very simple because it ensures that the country should run according to the constitution, not according to someone's mood. So judiciary is like that a teacher who knows exactly who is lying, even when the whole class supports the lie. Thank you.
Hello students, as you know that today is our presentation of class 9th. So topic is the working of institution. Keep stay with us and learn new things.
Good morning, everyone. Today, my team and I'm here present to represent a very important topic: working institution. Working institution play a major role in our society, shaping our society function. It's a government body, education system, economic organization. To understand more about that, let me introduce my team members.
Hello everyone, I am Mr. Pradhan and I am here to give the introduction about working institution.
Good morning, everyone. Myself Pooja Nishad and I am here to explain some function of working institution.
Hello everyone, I am Pragati Chauhan and I will talk about the types of working institution.
Good morning to all of you. My name is Anna Singh Thakur and I will give you more details about functions.
I am Jennifer Panna. Today I am explain executive laws.
Good morning everyone, myself Yogita Devangan, myself Simran Dansina, and today we are here to represent a presentation on topic modern form of money. So earlier objects like grain and cattle were used for exchange. After that, coins of gold, silver and copper were used for exchanging process. Modern form of money includes currencies authorized by the government of India. Other modern form of money is deposit in bank account, which is called demand deposit. So what is demand deposit? Demand deposit is a bank account that allows the fund to be withdrawn at any time without giving notice to the bank account. So examples of demand deposit: saving account, current account, money saving account. Thank you.
Good morning everyone, myself Kruti Bhara.
Myself Kajal Palmani.
Today we are going to present on the topic money as a medium of exchange. We will explain how money can buying and selling easier in our daily lives. In earlier time, people did not have money. They used to exchange goods directly. This process is called barter system. But the barter system has many problems, so people invented money to trade simple and easier. Barter system means giving one item and getting another on return. For example, a farmer trading a sack of wheat for a pair of clothes. The biggest problem was double coincidence of want, in which both of the people want goods at the same time. Because of this problem, people realized the need for a common tool of exchange. This led to the development of money and everyone accepted. Good morning to everyone and welcome. I, Gautami Pradhan, Stuti, Ridhima and Nikunj are here to present the chapter Power Resources. So, let us first know these are the things which are transformed into valuable things for the human needs. Now, as we all know, we need power and resources everywhere in our daily life. So, power resources are the resources which we convert. Good morning to everyone and welcome. I, Gautami Pradhan, Stuti, Ridhima and Nikunj are here to present the chapter Power Resources. So let us first know what are resources. Resources are the things which are transformed into valuable things for the human needs. As we all know, we need power and energy everywhere in our daily life. So power resources are the things which we convert into energy for our human needs. Power resources are divided into two types: conventional and non-conventional. Conventional resources are the resources which we generally use in our daily life, but these are exhaustible, which means these are limited. Conventional power resources are divided into 5 types: coal, petroleum, natural gas, water power and firewood. Now I want to call Stuti for coal. First, coal. Coal is a black or brownish rock found deep inside the Earth's surface. It is an important fossil fuel formed when plants died and got buried under layers of soil and water. And they were exposed to high heat and pressure for millions of years.
There are 4 types of coal. They are peat, lignite, bituminous, and anthracite. Anthracite being the best in quality, peat and lignite being inferior in quality, and bituminous is mostly used in industrial purposes. Coal serves many useful purposes, like it is used in cooking, and it is also used to generate electricity in thermal power plants. The major producers of coal are China, USA, Russia, India, South Africa, Australia, and Germany.
Now, let us know about water power. Water power, also called hydropower or hydropower. It is one of the most oldest and most widely used renewable energy, which is used to convert natural movement of water into usable electricity. Now, let us know about its working. Water power is generated with the help of turbines. Flowing water or falling water turns the blades of the turbine, which is connected to the generator, to produce electricity. Now, let us know about its benefits. Its main benefit is it produces very low greenhouse gases. It also controls flood and it also stores water. Thank you. I want to call Ridhima to make us understand what is tidal energy.
Tidal energy. Tidal energy is a renewable energy that is harnessed from the natural and predictable movement of ocean tides. The tidal energy is tapped to produce electricity. This process captures from the regular rise and fall of ocean tides. This process is a constant process in which barrages come across the narrow ocean tide. As the tide comes in, water flows through the turbines. And when the tide goes out, the water stored in the basin behind the barrage is released, which flows back through the turbine and generates electricity.